We're live. We are live today because my computer's being crazy. Work for me. No. You put way too much honey, my dear. Way too much honey. I'm trying not to burn my nail.
Try to see if I can get it going.
No, I have to do it. I appreciate the effort and wanting to try, but it's something that one must do for themselves.
How about trying this so you don't burn your nail? Light another one and then use something like that one.
Well, I've got to, it's a process. I've got to burn away some of that honey.
Well, maybe that'll help you. You can just hold the fire to it instead of...
If I don't breathe. So, hey, kids. So, I was trying to actually do something in a video that I was planning to upload for like September. But the issue happened when I had my camera malfunction. And I'm like, you know what? We're just going to go ahead and we're going to do it now. And we're going to hope for the best. Do your thing. I will give you time to yourself over here. If you learn anything from me, learn this. Put your honey on your candle before, not after. It creates an issue. So, warning to the wise. Because then you have to do a whole process of melting down the honey, moving the honey around, and it becomes a thing. So I figured I was going to go ahead and do a wellness check because I've told some of you, and some of you may have not seen it, that we are going to do a little bit more different content within the next year just due to my path I'm going to be walking. Every fall, I go into this descend, kind of the descend with Hecate. If you follow the mythos of Hecate and you go with the one with her going down with Persephone, I do this every year. It's very symbolic. My mood changes. My personality changes. It's a whole thing. And this year, well, technically for the last 2 or 3 years, I've been thinking about doing this where I give myself more than just that moment. And I've got signs from Hecate that I need to do this for a full year. So that's what I'm doing. And by doing this, I kind of wanted to do something that I've never seen done before by any other practitioner of the left-handed path who really just decides to lean over into the left-handed path more. And I kind of want to do that here. I want to do mental health check-ins. So that way, how's my mental health been since the progress of this? Because when you're working with different types of magic for various periods of time, it can affect your emotions, how you're feeling, and can change certain aspects of your life for either the good or the worse. So I kind of wanted to do that here just to kind of give my experience and maybe, whether it's somebody who's planning to go more of the left-handed path or someone who's been in the left-handed path and wishes that they had videos like this when they were doing it. That's kind of where I'm at. Now, for the last week or so, I've had a certain daemon I've been thinking about working with. And I know that I've been accepted, but I haven't took the step forward yet. I'm kind of what I call a courting period right now. For anybody that's never heard that terminology, basically what it is when you're working or thinking about working with a spirit, a deity, a daemon, or just an entity, whether it be elemental, fae, whatever it is, you have this courting period, basically where they show you their best attributes and you kind of go back and forth. Now, if you don't have this with a certain entity, then maybe that's basically them telling you, I don't want to work with you. For me, Asmodeus has been very, very outspoken. In the last week, I felt different energy shifts within the home. I've heard his voice. I've had electronic issues, which is why I'm here today. And it's basically like, you can't ignore me and I'm just here, so deal with it. Yesterday, prime example. I normally take about 2 to 3 hours to film one video because I'm very picky on how I look. Today is not one of those days. So it takes some time. Either something happens, the dogs bark, or the kids are in the background. I try not to show my kids as much as possible because there's creepers everywhere. Not saying you guys are, but it does happen. So I decided that, it's just best for me. But yesterday, when I was trying to make my video, and I'm watching as it's counting down, and it's keeping on going. I get done, I'm happy with it. I'm content. I'm like, yeah, go to do the playback on it. Completely blank, black screen, zeros all the way across. And I'm like, that's it. I'm done. I'm not doing it. I'll do it tomorrow. Try to do it today. And it's like, I do my test run because I always start out with testing 1, 2, 3, check and make sure the audio looks good, the video looks good. And if I'm happy with it, then I will delete that and I will start my other process. So did it today like I normally do. Did it again. And I'm like, okay, maybe there's something wrong with my computer. So I literally wiped everything on my computer, reformatted, redone everything that I needed to do. And I was just at this point, I'm like, I'm done trying to record. I'm going to go live. So that's kind of why I'm live here today. Had some issues with my phone. Every time I would go to send a message, it would send it. But the other person, all they would hear is white noise or a low gargling sound of some kind. Like, I don't know. And the thing is, I got new phones. Like, my phone is not old. It's new. I've had my phone checked because I thought, well, maybe my phone's messed up. Get there, they test it all. They're like, no, it's good to go. And I'm like, all right. So I get it. But it's kind of where I'm at. Some things I did want to talk on here since I am doing the stream, and some of you may not watch all the videos, such as the Hecate videos. Like I said a little bit earlier, things are going to change on this YouTube channel just slightly. I will still put out content for all different paths. I'm going to start doing kind of like an interview web series on here. I've talked about it for a few years, tried to start it a few years ago, and it just didn't work out. Like, I went to go record certain shops, lose the audio on them, and it just didn't make sense because at the time everything looked great. And I'm like, it's just not the time for it. And, at the beginning of this year, and it kind of goes into with what I'm talking about now, I told myself I was only going to do one big event this year, do more classes, and be out more in the community. Well, when the beginning of the year started, I got in the funk that I always did for the last couple years since I started the Divine Witch, and was basically doing the same old thing, like setting one for every month, every holiday. And coronavirus came and it pretty much put me in my place and said, no, this is what you need to do. And so since I haven't been able to really do public events, how to cancel Witch in the Woods, I decided, I'm going to focus on my own spiritual practice a lot more, make more time for it, set up a schedule. That's why you're starting to see uploads every Monday now. I'm going to be working on the website next year. We start our 501c3. I've got all the paperwork done, and I'm just waiting to submit all the paperwork along with the fee that it takes. And it's going to take about a good 6 months. But, coronavirus and everything set aside, I've decided, I'm going to do what I initially wanted to do with 2020 for 2021. And I am going to do one big event of a year. I will do classes. I'm going to do more online stuff because there is a market for it. Let's be honest. A lot of us don't live around covens or big groups or can't travel because of where you live, or it just wouldn't help you. Some people are like that. Some people don't want to get in the community because of drama. And I can't really blame him for it. I mean, honestly, I've been in this pagan community even here in Ohio, and there's always some kind of drama, no matter what group you go into. It just depends on how much you want to take. And a lot of people have anxiety. And now with coronavirus going on, a lot of things have been canceled. A lot of more people are online. So it just makes sense to get online and to be able to do things like this. And I kind of want to start that. If doing live streams every Sunday, getting people to talk and communicate with each other, you might make some connections in your area or make an online friend that you can reach out to. So it might be something that I start doing on Sundays. It's kind of up in the air, but I've started working on setting up different class structures. I've got a whole list of classes over the next 4 months that I'm going to write out the whole thing for. And I know a few people will do it here in this area, but with my practice, I'm more Hellenistic, but I'm also eclectic at the same time. Like, I follow Hecate, as you can clearly see from my channel, which a lot of the videos have done very well, so thank you. And I've always been the type of person who wants to know about the history, wants to learn about different paths. So I can add more than just, okay, I'm Hellenistic, this is the way you do it. Get some olive oil and let's roll out. Like, I try to be well-rounded. Like, there's things that I still learn and I want to share them with you. This is the thing about any magical path. It's never you learn it all and you're done, kind of like going to college for something. No, it's always continuously learning different signs, different symbols, kind of seeing where it goes and how it makes you feel. And I feel like, if it's something that I can do and make it be done, then why not do it? Currently right now, we are participating again with Drs Cauldron. If you don't know what that is, I've got a whole video somewhere in this channel about what it is, why we started it. I'll give you a little bit of a snippet on it. It's basically kind of like a food drive, but from the pagan community perspective. We noticed that, we wanted to start making ourselves more visible within the community. We do our own little charities and things like that. But, I know Dayton Pagan Coalition, they've been doing food drives for years and they've been doing their part. And, us over here at the Dying Witch, we've been almost 3 years now, 2.5, somewhere around there. And I started noticing within my hometown that there was a lot more homeless issues going on. And if anybody keeps up with the news, it was on there for a while. And so a bunch of us got together and was like, let's do something. Let's try to make something. And last year there was, I can't even tell you, I think it was like 50,000 pounds or something like that, or it was probably less than that, but it was a lot amount of food that was getting donated for people to use. We even make it to where, like, if you come up and you're hungry and you want something, get something out of the can. The only difference with this year is we kind of had to do it a little bit different because of coronavirus. So everything's getting wiped down. Everything's getting cleaned. Every can's getting wiped down before it even gets to the drop-off locations. And we've got shops helping in with that as well. So it's kind of like a new process. And, as they say, as times change, so do we. And that's something that I think most people forget about within their magical practice. Like, you don't have to do things in the community. You can do it by yourself. Just remember, what you think one year may be different from the next year. So I'm trying to keep that in mind. Now, Witches Ball is happening here in Cincinnati. They have someone new taking it over. I know that the organizer for Ohio Valley Pagan Society, he's now on the commission board for it, and they're doing some things as well. I believe it's going to be October the 30th that they're going to be doing it. I will be out there. I'll be doing readings. I will also be selling some things that I make and just having a good time, because honestly, I've been stuck inside so much, it's driving me nuts. I will have a mask on, and that's one thing I would say. around that time, we don't know what's going to happen with coronavirus or where it's going to lead, but try to be safe if you go to events or in big crowds of people. The last thing you want to do is be sick. And, I would advise, and I know a lot of us do it here in Ohio, to when it starts to get cold and flu season, go out, get your herbs, get your stuff, make your syrups and your cough medicines and stuff like that. Have it on hand, because a lot of times you can't go out and just run to the store and get it. And to be honest, some of the things that they put into cough syrups at the store, you don't want that in your body or your kids or whatever. This will be my first year doing it, so I'm kind of excited about it. Elderberry is one that I'm going to be making, but I'm trying to find the elderberries to do it. I know a lot of people go online and stuff like that, but I kind of want to try out local first, so that way I can support somebody that's local. But we'll see how it goes, and if that's something that you guys want to eventually see, then just let me know and I'll put the video out there. Hey, babe, will you do me a favor? Will you get a hold of Becky and see what she wants? Because I see that she messaged me, but I can't do nothing for her right at this moment. I really appreciate it. Thank you. So, that's kind of where I'm at. And I'm just trying to think of new things. And I figured, why not get on here, talk to you guys. Also, remember, there is a live chat. So you guys can actually communicate with me right now. Ask questions, things that you would like to see in the future. I am going to put this out there that I would love to have some more witches, different paths, to help make some blogs. I've got a website. I had some people doing some blogs. I've slacked on it. That's why I'm going to be setting up my own little, not a menu, but a schedule. So that way I can keep up with everything. But I'm going to need help. I'm trying to get help with, planning certain things. If there's some class that you guys would like to hold under the Divine Witch name, please feel free. Contact me. It's all about community and working together. At least it is for me. And I want to do that. I want to give more people ability to use their voice, to be heard. And, with Corona and everything that's going on this year, it's been hard on a lot of bodies. Everybody. See, that's my day. That's how my day's been. Yay. It's been hard on everybody. I know a lot of shops have shut down completely just because they couldn't make it. They weren't able to have their shops open. It wasn't considered a necessity. So, I'm thinking about next year doing another shop hop around here in our area to kind of help support and boost them. Of course, we're going to have to look at regulations. If we can't have big groups together, then maybe I can do like one shop hop this month and a couple months later do another one. So if there's any shops that want to be part of that and you're in Ohio, just contact me and we'll work it out. We'll figure it out. We are also working with our Black Lives Matter group here in Middletown, and we will be doing an event together, and we're going to get some precautions, for safety and things like that. But it's just to kind of keep the momentum rolling because, we did the protest, but there's always more work to be done, and that's kind of what I want to do. And they reached out and asked if I would mind helping again. And I don't. I would love to work with them. One of the best things that we can do as a community is show all aspects of it. And how can I sit there and say, hey, support pagans and, we're not all bad, and then not support the rights of others. So hopefully we can get some things going. One of the other things that I want to do for 2021 is I found out that there's a local garden where you can rent a spot, have your garden, and, so I'm thinking about setting that up next year. I've looked into the spot. I'm probably going to get multiple spots, one for the pagan community to basically just use during our festivals and our holidays. And then I want to have one for us to actually donate when we do Drs Cauldron. Because Drs Cauldron goes around from like the end of August to the end of October. So it kind of gives that good window, and we can give people the opportunity to get fresh fruits and vegetables and things like that. If any of you guys have any land and you want to offer land instead, we would be more than happy to work with you. Before all this actually started, it was at Guide to the Gods. I had talked to this young lady, and she had like 5 acres, and she had offered her land, but then everything started happening, and we just couldn't get together right away. So, you got to kind of roll with what's going on around you and the punches that you receive. But I think, through it all, the shit show that 2020 has been, you can't really complain too much. I mean, even if you did, who's going to listen? But I think it brings more of the perspective of how much community is needed. Look at how many people were affected job-wise. Look how many people were affected by food and toiletries and just simple basic needs. I mean, there's people still struggling right now. Luckily, we have been lucky enough to where the jobs that we have are continuously going. They're considered essential. So that way, we still got income coming in, and we're able to do more things than most at this point. So, it's one of those things where it makes you really think about it. And, even with school starting, kids getting into classes, or new parents by the way, if you are a pagan and you're homeschooling, go to our website. I have multiple links. There's also some Facebook groups I have listed on our website for homeschooling. It was so weird because I literally, when we started redoing the website, I'm like, I want to have it where people have the ability, if they're pagan and they're homeschooling, they have somewhere where they can go to for links. I'm going to start diving deep a little bit more into that to give more resources. But if any of you guys have any resources that you want to share that are not listed on our website, then please send them to me either by Messenger on Facebook underneath this video. That way we can kind of help each other out, and I can help other people who may be seeing the website but not seeing the YouTube or the social media. Because, I mean, honestly, it's hard to find that balance. And I know that there's a few other contacts I need to add to that. So I'm going to go ahead while I'm doing this live stream and write that down so that way I don't forget about it, because I'm a squirrel and that's what happens. By the way, just as a friendly reminder, we do have a live chat, which means you can talk as I'm talking, and we can chit chat back and forth, and I can answer questions or anything like that. It's just been crazy. It really has. What else am I planning to do for 2020? 2021, we will be having Witch in the Woods as far as if we're allowed to. I tried to, after all the bans were lifted, to schedule another date for this year for Witch in the Woods. Didn't tell nobody about it, but I've been trying. And they're not opening up no group spots. I know a few people thought they were being smart and got a bunch of people together and we're just getting the same tent lots side by side. But realistically, at that point, I mean, it can work, but I also like to give people privacy, because you never know if they're opening the path to like everybody. That's why at any of our events, I always say, make sure if you're taking pictures of anybody or anything that you ask them before you take it. So that way, if they're not open to their family, their friends, or maybe they have a job that's more of a certain faith-based job and they don't want them to know, then you're not outing someone. So, that's always a good rule of thumb. You never want to be the person to out somebody when they're not ready to have their moment or their time. It's a process. And luckily for me, my family understood what I was saying, but they thought it was a phase. And then when I didn't grow out of it, they were like, I'm like, it's not a phase. It's the path I walk. I do wish you guys good health, and hopefully, whatever it is that you have planned for yourself and the goals that you have set for yourself throughout the year, and for the coming year, hopefully you can obtain them. I am going to be doing some, I've got like 3 or 4 videos already ready to be uploaded. Some of them are going to talk about Hecate, and some of the questions I've got on the Hecate videos as well, going more in depth, like invocation, things like that. I do plan to start a web series on necromancy and how to use that within your practice as well, which I'll probably have to do a guide to the dark gods and goddesses, which it'll be the ones I know about. There are so many that I could literally do a class for 100 years and I would still have more to come up with, because that's a great thing. I do want to have a discussion on here about how certain deities transform from pantheon to pantheon, what gods were considered demons or were turned into demons, in that process. But I think it's going to be later in the year, probably around maybe October. Maybe sounds like a good month. We're also going to do a video on the Salem witch trials and kind of like where it is from the time that it started over in Europe to today, because not many people know that it still happens today. It happens more in other countries than it does here in America, but it doesn't mean that it doesn't happen here in America. So, this is something that I think most people think is just one snippet in a period of time, but just because you don't see it doesn't mean it's not still happening. I think it was earlier this year, a girl was burned in Iraq because they thought that she was doing witchcraft. This girl was like 7 years old. And it was horrible. So, I feel like stuff like that needs to be talked about, and to have a perspective of it. I would love to also work with different magical path YouTubers on here, just having discussions, like maybe once a week, get someone else who has another channel, talk about, their path, and, pick a few subjects to kind of play off of as a starter. But I think the more that we build, not only just online, but we build as a whole, like in person and everything, that we can actually bridge some of those gaps. I've been on TikTok for a while. We finally got over 1,000 followers on TikTok, so that's great. I'm trying to get a lot of them to convert over here. It's a slow process, and just like every other community, they have their drama. They have some with good information, some with bad information. Me personally, it's just another way to outreach to people, have conversations, and learn new things. As far as our Facebook page goes, I think we're at like 756 people. Twitter, we're still working on. We've got like 12. It's still in its baby stages. We're growing here on this channel as well. So the more we grow, I think the more we'll be able to do, especially once we get the 501c3, which I'm kind of excited about, because we're going to be able to do so much. Like, I want to start a whole pagan youth group in my area. I know there's other areas that do it, but I want to do it in my area. My kids are growing up. There's other kids who either are interested in it, or family that wants them to be able to hang with other pagans and be able to do cool little outings and learn different things. And I kind of want to help build that community as well, and throw in my experience and what I can offer. So I think, yeah, that's pretty much all I've got to say. Unless anybody's got any questions, and then I'll probably stop live streaming, at least for today. I've got another Zoom meeting at like 7 tonight. And eventually, at some point, I got to make dinner because I am that mom life. So just remember, guys, like I always say, no two witches, which is the same. And I hope that you guys are having a beautiful week. Tomorrow, there will be a video uploaded. And keep doing what you do. Love you guys. Bye.